Hi, I'm Wiz, and this is another Wednesday Wisdom. So I'm super excited about doing these every Wednesday, and I'm going to give you some little snippets of what I talk to with a lot of my one-to-one clients, and also what I integrate into larger strategy projects when I'm working with brands and retailers. So the biggest one to think about is always the customer, and I put the customer at the heart of any strategy when I'm working with a brand, and it should be all about the customer. And the reason being is if you put them at the heart of all of your decisions, it can really ensure that you're making the right decisions for your customers, and that will ultimately convert to sales. So alongside having a customer-centric strategy, one of the things that I'm going to talk about is what the customer journey is. And the reason this is so important and why I wanted to share it with you is I often see frustration from brands that they've done a piece of work with an influencer, or they have had something published with a journalist in, I suppose, a newspaper or a magazine, which is absolutely amazing. But they then don't always see the conversion to sales straight away, and they're feeling a little frustrated and a bit down about that. So the reason I'm telling you this is so you understand that part of the customer journey is this marketing rule of 7. And I talk about this a lot because what it means is a customer needs to see your brand message at least 7 times before they consider purchasing. So, bearing in mind 7 times, one press article or one feature with an influencer, that is 1 out of these 7 touch points. So based on that, it's very unlikely that that's going to see a sudden spike in sales. That is just one of the touch points, and it's about having lots of different opportunities to communicate and connect with your customer. And you have so many different opportunities. You've got multiple different social media platforms, you've got your website, you have partnerships, whether that's with other brands or retailers, whether that's with influencers, whether that's with journalists. There is so many different opportunities to get your brand message out there. This can seem overwhelming, and it's not about having multiple different messages. It's about being consistent, ensuring that you are consistently talking about your brand message. What's your reason why your brand is different to others? And why do customers need that product in their life? These are some of the questions that you should constantly be revisiting and asking yourself, particularly as the market's changing and new brands are emerging. So thinking about what your one brand message is that you want to be consistently talking about. What are all the different touch points that you can be covering? You can certainly brainstorm all of the different platforms and outlets that you can be focused on. But one way that I think is really useful is to think about what was the last product that you purchased. Generally, it'll be a luxury product, and that doesn't have to be really expensive, but it's something, I define luxury as something that's considered, something that you really want, something that's aspirational. So based on this, what was that product that you really wanted? Where did you first see it? What was your first exposure to it? Was it a friend that told you about it? Did you see something in a magazine? Was it on a blog? Then where did you see it again? I imagine it's quite unlikely that you would have seen that product once and then immediately bought it. Quite often, customers will have seen something and they might not look at it again. Or they might then see it again and think, oh, I've seen that before and I was interested in that before, but I didn't do anything about it. So, oh, okay, maybe I'll have another look for it. Maybe I'll Google it, see what comes up. How can I learn more about that brand or product? So then they start thinking and considering, I suppose, the purchase. They start doing some research. So where can customers find out about your brand? And what are you communicating to them so you can start educating them and telling them more information about your brand as they go on that customer journey? So bearing in mind this marketing rule of 7 again, that a customer needs to see your brand at least 7 times before they consider purchasing. What are all the different touch points? And how can you start to educate your brand your customer about why your brand or product is right for them. So that's what I mean by this customer journey, is really thinking about all the different touch points, having a consistent message that you can communicate to the customer, and at different touch points start, I suppose, giving more information to them. So once they land on your website or one of your blogs, make sure you have a lot of rich content that they can start to understand and find out more about your brand, about your product, so that converts them to sales. So again, think about what your customer journey was. What did you research? Why? What experience did you have? And how can you translate some of that experience that you've had into your brand? Keep track of this as well for any future purchases that you have. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. It's all about customer experience, and this customer journey is about ensuring those customer experience touch points, again, are consistent with your brand message. I hope that's been helpful. If you'd like to hear more about how we work, please get in touch. If not, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, comment on here, DM. And also, if not, just tune in again next week for Wednesday Wisdom. I hope you found it helpful. Speak soon.